Okay, this is a much better start. Building the 2 houses, and then going right to sheep. I like the scouting. Alright, 6 on sheep, you want to go the next one to lumber. Where's this guy going? Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna zoom by here. So the main thing you want to do in this map, because it's closed and you have stone walls, is not build any feudal army. You basically want to skip feudal age, get right to castle age, and then in castle age you can either try to decide to be aggressive or boom with 3 town centers, because you're well protected by your walls. So let's see if the opponent or yourself makes too much army in feudal age, because that's going to set your economy back. Okay, so let's pause here. So in the Dark Age, you don't need this many people getting wood. 4 people on wood on 1 lumber camp is enough throughout all of Dark Age. You have about the right number here on berries, like 4 or 5 is usually good. But basically what you want to do is consume the sheep, lure your boars. Sometimes you want to build even like a mill here and get the deer for free. Yeah, if you think about it, a mill costs 100 wood, and it gets you, hundreds of food in exchange. So it's a good trade. But yeah, don't over commit to getting wood, because it's not necessary. You research feudal age a little bit too early. Usually when you're doing a fast castle build, you want to go up to feudal age around 26, 27, I'm sorry, like 24, 25 villagers. And then you build a couple new villagers. Once you're in the feudal age, get the gold, and then you jump right to castle age. Yeah, so this is just way too much wood right now. You need to maintain 4 people on the berries. Keeping like 8 or 9 on wood is fine. Oh, I see, you're going, yeah, okay. 2 town center, Cuman boom, that's strong, that works. You still have too much wood though, so you're floating 220. Another thing you can clean up is just have 1 villager building a house. You really don't need 3 villager building a house. It's just wasting a lot of villager time. They could be working instead. And then this town center, I would like to see it next to 1 resource or the other, not like in between 2 resources, because then the travel distance matters. So you usually want to get this like right here or something. And you'll want to build more farms or mill the deer. You basically need 12 on food to sustain constant build production from both DCs. Otherwise, what's the point of having 2 town centers, right? So to maintain constant build production, you gotta have 12 on food. So this is the part where you're gonna start to float too much wood. Let's see what this guy's doing. You're sending them back here. Okay, yeah, this is too many lumber camps. You really don't need more than 2 lumber camps. You would want to research double bit axe. Once you're in feudal, let's see if you've gotten it. It helps you chop wood faster. Nice, you researched it. Good. Again, too many villagers building houses. You really only need 1. But your economy is a little more balanced out. You got more than enough to sustain constant build production. You're floating a lot of wood here, so this is where I would recommend transferring some of those villagers to start gathering either more food from farms or some gold. You just don't need as much wood. So yeah, just generally speaking, target like 8 to 11, somewhere in that range of wood, people getting wood. You really don't need anything more than that, generally speaking. Now you gotta start thinking about Castle Age. So to think about Castle Age, you need to build 2 Feudal Age buildings. So it could be Market Blacksmith. In this case, you got Archery Range Blacksmith. That's fine. So you just need to get the resources now to go Castle. This this Archery Range is way too back here. You gotta put your military buildings closer to the beginning, or to the front of your base, right? Because this is not helping protect. Your guy has to walk all this way just to like get to the front of your base. So military buildings in the front, generally speaking. 1 villager building houses instead of 3, generally speaking. And other than that, pretty good transition to Castle Age. You got a huge. If you look at the vill count, you should be. Oh, you're not ahead. Okay, you will soon be ahead though, because he's got to spend time when he researches Castle Age. Okay, so you see he comes at you with a feudal army. This is not going to do anything. You know, if I were you, I wouldn't even build 3 archery ranges and build skirmishers. The skirmishers, again, they're a defensive unit. They're not going to be really useful to attack with. And I think later in the game you'll see you don't even really use these 3 archery ranges. So it's just a big investment in wood that could have been otherwise better spent. I do like what you're doing in Castle Age. As soon as you hit it, you went right to building another town center. So this is going to be a bit. You're gonna get a big advantage in build counts. But now you gotta start thinking about how do I work myself way up to my army composition that I need. And for Cumans, generally speaking, it would be Kipchaks, maybe knights. So you just got to think about how do you adapt your economy to support the military composition that you would like. So again, elite skirmisher, really don't think it was a good investment here, because it's not really a good offensive option. And there's no way he's gonna get through your walls. You got stone walls. You can send a villager to repair this. He's never gonna break through. This castle's okay. I would have liked it probably here, a little bit closer to here, or even better yet, if you felt comfortable, bring your army outside of your base, securing some of your gold that's outside of your base. Right now, what this is doing is really it's defending the gate, I guess, and with lumber, but it's not the best. It's okay though. So you just researched your unique technology. Step husbandry. Okay, so here's the thing. If you're gonna research this, then you better make sure you use it, right? And I guess it's okay. Cavalry archers trained faster. I don't know if this. I don't think this applies to Kipchaks. I gotta look that up. But if it does apply to Kipchaks, sure, it's a good thing. But otherwise, if it doesn't, and you're not gonna be building light cavalry or steppe lancers or cav archers, then there's no point. Always prioritize the upgrades that help benefit your army composition. Okay, so the enemy is doing this kind of smart thing of posting his scouts all across the map because he wants to know if you're ever going to run out and try to get relics. What you should definitely do is start to take map control. You have a huge villager count, you're over 30 villagers above him, so you can start outproducing your opponent, right? So outproducing him in terms of building more production buildings. I like that a second castle is going up, but I would really have liked this castle right here, not here. Again, this is a little turtle-ish. You're turtling up in your base. Claim the map, seize the resources. Get your monks out and claim the relics since you have the army to support it. Here, I'm gonna turn off Fog of War. I'm gonna, I guess, cast this just from your perspective so we don't kind of cheat and see what he's doing. Alright, this is good. You're claiming relics. Yep, and then, I would push these guys here, control this area, get the relic, get another castle up. You have 660. Okay, Both of you went Imperial, that's fine. So if it gets to Imperial Age, what it really means is the opponent might have castles up, you have castles up. It's going to be a fight that's going to involve trebuchets or siege rams. It's going to involve late game siege. Oh yeah, so this snipe right here, he just kind of got lucky. You have to kind of escort your monks, so to speak. This formation, by the way, you have it in staggered. Generally speaking, you want your archers to be clumped together and not staggered, because when they're staggered, not all of them might fire at the enemy. You want to kind of like have like a ball of death, like a concentrated ball of death. The only time you would stagger it, see like that, like so you changed the formation there, that's good. The only time you would change it is if they have a lot of siege and you're worried about, you know, taking splash damage or something, then you would make it into stagger formation. But generally speaking, clump your units together. Yep, and be active. I like that you're being active. Go around, raid their base. So here's a couple mistakes now I'm seeing. Your 3 castles, they're inside your base. Again, you're not seizing. You have map control. You have a really strong army, right? He's got no answer to your Kipchak so far. So why not claim more of the map by putting castles here, here, anywhere, right? You've got the stone. You can even sell some gold to get more stone. When you play like in the late Imperial Age, it's all about map control. So it's all about kind of securing more of the strategic resources. So yeah, this is good. This castle right here is good. Getting relics is good. So you're doing definitely the right things. What I'm seeing a big issue with, you don't have secondary production. All you're doing is building Kipchaks. Where is your have you like, you know, used these archery ranges for anything else? Have you used stables or barracks? You know, there's no there's no sort of supporting unit, and what we usually call a trash unit that doesn't cost gold. The best unit, I think, generally for you would be to have Hussar. If you look at the tech tree, you got fully upgraded Hussar. They have Bloodline, so they can have 20 HP. You can see that you haven't researched this yet. This is going to be a huge issue later in this game for you. You really need to upgrade the HP on your cavalry, but yeah, you need a supporting unit to your Kipchaks. Good. See, I would spend this time right now to just tear down the opponent's walls. It's clear he hasn't really migrated outside of his base yet, and you know, like using your whole army to wipe out one mining camp, really not worth it. You could have done it with like 2 or 3 units. And again, I think I'm just not seeing enough production from you. You're close to pop capped, but the issue is you're really only using 4 buildings to build units. You should be building many more buildings, because in the late game it's all about how quickly you can replenish your army. Okay? Alright, so this is, yep, run back. He's coming at you with kind of trash here. A lot of pikemen. Don't be too scared of the pikemen. The crossbowmen aren't that scary either. Nice. You look at the vil count, you're still ahead. Try to work yourself up to like 130, 140 vils in general. I think the biggest issue right now is you don't have the main upgrades. You have elite Kipchaks, but let's see what you're missing. So I like that you have all the blacksmith upgrades for archers. That's good. So your Kipchaks are fully upgraded from the blacksmith. You're still missing bloodlines. That's huge. Your units right now are like 45 HP. You really need to get them to 65. You're missing ballistics and chemistry. This is the biggest issue. So ballistics helps you aim better at units that are moving. Chemistry gives you a +1 attack strength, so it's just, you know, 1 more damage. Both are really important in the late game because he's gonna have stronger and stronger units, as you can see when he had the halberdier. So you kind of really need as many techs that can support you as you can. There's also, this is less important, but there's also thumb ring. and Parthian tactics from the archery range. You can see here archers fire faster with 100% accuracy. This is good for units that are not moving, anything that's still. And then Parthian tactics, makes them sort of more resilient, especially against pikemen. And you can see that he's coming at you with pikemen. So just some things to be aware of when you're this late in the game and you have tons of resources. You just gotta just take a step back. Don't focus so much on fighting here. Just kind of retreat, keep your army alive. He's not gonna take down this castle, for a while. Use that time to think about how can you strengthen your already strong army. So you got 4 units coming out of the castle. That's good. You got to make sure you research conscription. Let's see if you've done that yet. Conscription, you have. Good. That'll just help make units faster so you can replenish. But yeah, can you see how these Kipchaks are kind of falling apart? They're just dying too quickly. And the reason they're dying too quickly is because they don't have bloodlines, they don't have Parthian tactics, they're not shooting very accurately. He's also got the siege. Yeah, you're just losing your whole army. So it's a combination of unit control and not having upgrades is why you're losing these fights. The bigger reason though why you're losing these fights is that you need a meat shield, and that meat shield should be something like Hussar or skirmishers or something that doesn't cost gold. They need to kind of be in front and absorb all the damage, while your gold unit, your expensive unit, comes from behind and sort of deals a lot of damage over time. And this is nice, but doesn't really do much. Okay. You also are missing a house. You need to get to 200 pop so you should be building a house. You got some idols, so you want to fix that. You got halberdier. Yeah, so you should set the rally points for the barracks to the front of your building, and to the front of your base. Yeah, this is just a lot of him chasing you around the map, and you're not really able to kill fast enough because I gotta check something. I gotta ask you this in person. I think you might be clicking one unit at a time with your Kipchaks, which is really inefficient. The way you want to do it is you want to run and hit patrol or hit the attack button. But I think if you're just aiming at one at a time, you're overkilling, right? All your arrows go to one target where they could be going to multiple targets. The other thing is you really still need a meat shield, and I think it should be Hussar. The Hussar will give you the best opportunity to help support your Kipchak army. And if you start noticing also, by the way, that your units are just dying too quick, don't be afraid to tech switch. You always have perfectly powerful Cavalier Paladin line, right? You can always switch into these, and you see how much HP they have, 120, 160. With the resources that you have, you can easily just transition, because this army is not getting you anywhere. It's just not helping you push, right? You're constantly trying to move them around. You're terrified that they'll kill you with halberdier. So don't be afraid to kind of change it up. He's got a lot of halberdier, so obviously that gives you pause thinking about whether you want to build more cavalry units. But if the Kipchaks are not working for you, don't be afraid to change something up. Alright, let's take a pause here. So if you look really carefully, the castle is shooting a lot of the units, but what's really threatening the castle is these mangonels. So all you have to do, and it takes a little bit of, I guess, mental energy, but is you select the castle and then you right-click each of the mangonels. That'll reduce the amount of damage your castle takes. And because these units really pose no threat, they're not siege weapons. They do like very minimal damage because of all the armor that castles have. So generally speaking, if you're under siege like this and they don't have trebuchets, they have like something stupid like mangonels, just kill their mangonels first and then just relax. This will help keep your castle alive. I think in this one you end up losing the castle though. He's shooting, yeah, he's busy shooting at like halberdiers. And he doesn't even have the castle, I don't think even has ballistics, so it's not even aiming very well. Yeah, this is a big issue. Ballistics, chemistry, very important text. Yep. So right now it's just you're kind of backpedaling. He's pushing you forward with nothing but trash, just complete trash units, right? Halberdiers are not really good units. I mean, they're okay, but it's just purely a couple things. Look at how many arrows are missing. They're missing because you don't have ballistics, and you know it costs him nothing to build halberdier. It costs you gold to sustain kipchaks. So as this game drags on, you're going to start running out of gold. He's going to kind of outlast you, and then every time he fights you, you're scared to lose your kipchak, so you're kind of backpedaling. So proper way to fix that in this situation, let's take a pause. In this composition that you see, halberdier, which are very anti-cavalry, mangonels, which are anti-archers, the best way to handle this is maybe switching into pure infantry, something like, let's see how good your infantry line is. Yep, you have decent infantry. You have all the way up to champions, and you even have fully upgradable champions from an armor perspective. So the infantry line can kill halberdiers very well, assuming you get the upgrades. And then the other way you can approach this is you can try to kind of separate his siege from his halberdiers. If you kind of walk around and let them chase you, get them away, and then you use a couple of knights to kill just target the mangonel, and then use your archer units to kill the pikemen. It's very tough to do in practice. It takes a lot of micro and a lot of actions per minute, but the best way to handle this combination, if you want to use your current composition, is to use the kipchaks to try to lure the pikemen away and then snipe the siege. The easier one is to tech switch by building 7 to 10 barracks, go the champion lineup, and then just kind of mow them down. He will not be able to fight that. And again, don't do stagger formation. I guess it's a little tempting because of the mangonels. Okay, this is interesting, but you gotta protect it. You can't have just a bunch of siege walking across the map, because siege takes bonus damage from infantry units. This is a good idea, but you gotta protect your siege army. Yeah, see all these arrows that are missing? They're missing because you don't have ballistics, and I think it's also because you're targeting one unit at a time. You really gotta just let them fight. Just hit the patrol button. If the pikemen get close, just walk away. But don't never like right click one unit at a time, because you're overkilling units. This is fine. See, he's still not, for all of this push, which kind of cleared up your castle here. You were okay. You already ate the gold, right? And the issue is you don't have an answer for his halberdiers. And it's ironic because the Huns are the true cavalry civ, and it's funny that he's the one kind of building the counter to the cavalry, and you're just kind of running around. What this is doing is it's distracting you from focusing on important things like balancing your resources, your economy, and producing more. You've fallen to 97 villagers. You need to get to 200 pop, so you need to build some houses to support 200, and you're just not producing. You only have 3 castles producing. Where is your stable production? Where is your archery range production? Where is your barracks production? Right, depending on the situation that you choose to go with. So all you're doing is kind of like walking these guys around, but you're kind of like losing the long-term game here. I think we talked about this in chat. One thing you can also do is just build a bunch of stables, set a rally point to like here, and then just flood a bunch of, since you opened up the gate, assuming he hasn't closed it yet, just flood a bunch of hussar here. All you have to do, it'll take the pressure off you, because he's got to deal with protecting his economy, and if you get lucky, the Hussar will kill a ton of villagers if he's unprepared for it. But right now, you're just kind of like focused all down in the center here. You're just kind of worried. You're trying to keep this army alive by trying to micro, but he's tearing down everything. He's got the siege. Yeah. So in the future, like if I were to take over the game right now, oh, right when you resign, this trash composition of pike and elite skirmishers, you see how little damage they do, 6+4. They have a bonus damage against cavalry, obviously, but 6+4 for the elite skirmishers, they have 3+3, so 6 damage. If you went champions, which have no weaknesses to skirmishers and no weaknesses to pikemen, with the 13 attack base attack plus your what is it right here, 4 total attack, they'd have something like 17 total attack. They'd have a ton of pierce damage. They would clean everything here. So the ideal way to kind of clear this up and sustain a push is go champions, build some siege behind it like trebuchets or siege ram, but make sure you have like 7 or 8 barracks producing, and then just flood and just auto attack. Let them just kind of mop up the shop. I think what really lost you the game was you didn't upgrade your Kipchaks. You didn't support your Kipchaks with a trash unit like Hussar, and you spent a lot of time microing around, trying to keep the army alive instead of just building the ideal counter and just kind of ending the game. You could have ended the game when you hit this castle here and tore down the walls and just flood Hussar into his base. He would have no answer to that. He'd be chasing you all day. But GG.